roll.
Drum roll.
Yeah. So we selected this style, all of us together. Are you serious people? Is there a teacher in the house?
Yes, we are.
We are the teacher. Thank you.
Yes,
for
they are.
joining us. So I'm dressing up for you guys because I'm very happy to see all of you here. So, do you know what I'm talking about? Sorry, fly here. Clowning. Hi, Mom. And how to change the world. How do you feel about the world today, you guys?
Like, it's sad.
Sad. There are some sad things happening. What do you find sad, for example?
Wars.
Wars. There's a lot of wars happening. I saw a show the other day from Australia. Do you know something called The Amazing Race? There's a kind of an American version. This is another one which is about not so much a race, but living the life of refugees. So people who don't know what's the life of refugee, like what are you doing in my country? And so they actually selected 6 people and they make them live the life of being a refugee, from just coming into the land to actually running away for their lives. So they actually take them in the war zone and stuff like that. So there are a lot of war zones around. Now, clowning is a way to bring, how can I say, hope to the people. Okay? When you suffer, I'm sure you know this, you're powerless. Suffering means you cannot change anything. Suffering is you feel like nobody is thinking about you, or that things are beyond you. What I do, which is volunteer work, when I do volunteer as a clown, and I'll get to that a bit later. The idea is I go see, people who are sick, people who are suffering, orphans, stuff like that, and I have my red nose most of the time. And then the idea is that when I'm with them, they have total power over me. When I'm with these people, there's nothing for me there. I go and I give myself wholly to that person. To a young one, or to an older one, or to seniors. You have to think how many times in your own life are you in a situation where you're 100%, not so much in control, but you have no worries, no care. And I'm there for them. And I'm not asking anything in return. So a feeling can change the world. It's not so much doing, thinking too much about how you're going to change. Just doing something. Something simple can actually change the world. You change the life of one person, and then that person can change the lives of other people. So a clown is not so much being funny, it's so much about giving hope and giving care. So that people feel that when I go to Guatemala, when I go to Peru, then I see a small kid, I went to India and I went to a leprosy center. Then these people know that, hey, there's actually somebody from Canada who cares for me. Just for a moment, consider that. Somebody just hopefully cares for them. That's what clowning is. So my journey into a clown is, I don't know if I'm going to say it's very typical or atypical. I don't think there's a specific journey. But my first clowning experience was a year ago, last March. So when I think I'm 57, I forget. I was born in 59. You know, one of those years that ends with 9. So you always have to calculate. You know, if this is 75, no, this is 2015, then I must be born in, and you know, that kind of thing. So, and you guys are beautifully young. Thank you for welcoming me to your class. But I also wanted to say that at 55 you can rewrite your life. You can totally change your life to better the world, to help people. So, my journey, I'm going to show you a bit of my journey. And I'd like this to be as interactive as possible. So if you have any question, I love people. I love you guys. It's just wonderful to be together. So, only since a year I'm doing this now. And I've been to Guatemala twice, I've been to India, and now I'm going to, tomorrow actually, I'm taking the plane to Peru, to Iquitos, Belen. It's a neighborhood, and we're actually not so much going to be living with these people, but we're going to go where they live actually, in their houses and stuff like that. So that's a very special project. So, my assistant, what's your name again? Galan. A big hand. You can start there.
Thank you.
These are my fans. Do you like them?
Yeah.
Applause. Applause. Yeah. I can also wear them like that. Okay. And no. I'm looking. Oh yeah, for my sister you there. Very important. That's for you. Thank you. And for you. Yep. I missed. Thank you. Okay, so what's written there? What is written? 30 years artist. There you go, you make the grade. So I'm basically, you look beautiful. I'm going to nose myself up. That's for you. Thank you. Each time somebody comes, we applaud now. Okay, thank you. So, basically, I have my education. I've been since, I think, the age of 15. I started to think of becoming a visual artist. So, painting, sculpture, drawing. I've done basically all the different materials. And it's a bit light here, but that's okay. I heard even when I painted, I always did very close to the heart. So this is a homeless lady walking around in the city. And this was a kind of it's too dark here, but a kind of a bystander, kind of looking at a crime scene here. And is he going to act or not? You know? In our society today, what is your choice? Do you just stand by, or are you actually going to go into action? So these are kind of questions. You know, I wasn't making any statement. It just happened like that. Okay, next one. Thank you. Okay, so a part of my work, I did a photo installation. Now, installation is a kind of art that instead of making painting and sculpture, you actually organize a physical space. Okay. And who can translate this in any language? The outcome, the other side of the bridge, This was a show that brought together people who live sexual abuse, people who were political refugees, and First Nation people. I don't know if in Panama there's talks about First Nation people, or I don't know about your politics here, but it's the idea that whatever happened, that you lost your roots, whatever the circumstances, you're all put on a road where you feel lonely, where you feel hurt, where you don't know your identity anymore. But when you go on this road, most of the time, eventually you form new relationships. And these new relationships will be intercultural and intergenerational. So young and old, and people from all around the world. Okay? And this show was about that, about loneliness might be a hard journey, but at the end of the tunnel, there's something that comes out of it, and it's togetherness beyond just your family and stuff like that. This one, I work with a group of handicapped people who had a brain, I forget, hemorrhage. So people who, from one day to the other, one day they're totally functional, and the next day, aphasic people who basically are losing their body. And we built a boat together along this is the skyline of Montreal. Okay, next one. And this one, Marie-Joseph Angélique, is the story of slavery in Montreal. Because slavery is very folkloric in America. You know, we talk about the black slaves and the cotton fields and stuff like that. But actually in Canada, it was also a slave country. And slave country for 200, 300, 400 years ago. And that story is basically untold. Actually, so when I do art event, I also organize lectures and conferences. And this guy, Marcel Trudel, in 1960 was the first university teacher to write a book on that subject matter. And the prize he got for writing that book was to be kicked out of the university in 1960 because it was a taboo subject. So it's still a kind of a taboo subject. Okay. Teacher. So I was teaching for about 20 years in the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts. So my art was something, and then just to make a living was to be able to teach. And I'm just playful, which is I kind of became a clown. Like I say, it's only been a year. Okay. Thank you. And a speaker, a bit like I'm doing now. But I never thought of anything special about doing that. You know, I just love people and I love doing it. Okay. Now, laughter yoga. Do some of you know laughter yoga? Boy, there's a lot of bugs. We don't have to worry. Laughter yoga was invented 20 years ago from India, which is the name yoga. But it's basically about laughter and how laughter is good for your health, is good for your hormones, it's just good for everything in your body. So, 2 years ago, I stopped at my job. There was a time for life change. And I needed something to bring new energy in my life. So actually I became a laughter yoga teacher. So now I'm actually a teacher of laughter yoga. I did a laughter competition. Yeah, next one. That's okay. And I did take a 5-day course into being a clown. Because as I am with you now, this is me, this is who I am. And I figured that people like it when I'm funny. Yes, it's true. So I figured, well, let's push all the way. Let's go to clown school. Let's go see what it's like. And I cried during that school, not because I was a sad clown, but because it was quite challenging, quite hard to do. But on the 5th day, I finally, okay, it makes sense for me. So you know, so, and then next one, thank you. Okay, and I always knew about Patch Adams. Who knows about Patch Adams here? One, a few of them, a few of you. So he is real. He's gonna be 70 this year. And most of them know him because of the movie from Pachana. So, since I was very young, when I was 12 or even younger, I've always asked myself, I don't know if you guys ever thought something like that, how come we can send people to the moon when half the people are starving in this world? I don't know if all 10 or 12-year-olds think like that, but that's just who I was. So when I saw the movie, it was something very close to me, very natural to me. So I wrote to him, because in the video he says, if he will answer any letter you write. He hates the computer, but if you write to him, he will answer to you. So I was being involved with laughter. So I say I want to write a book on laughter, because there's a laughter school in the States, laughter school in France. There's different styles of laughter. So I say, well, okay, I'd like to interview Patch. So I wrote to him, and he said, well, I'm too busy. The only way we can meet is if you come and see me. And I did. So that's how it's like, I never wanted to be a clown. I never wanted to join the circus. I never wanted to learn the ukulele. But it's a great instrument. Who plays ukulele here? Yay! All 20 of you. They don't see you in the camera. Anyway, so I won't play because I don't know how to play. But the thing about a clown is if you fail, you always succeed. So it's great to be a clown. So I did. I went to see him, and then that's the real Patch Adams. You can't really see the picture here. It's really gross. You know, when you girls go see a gynecologist, ooh, I say big words, eh? Gynecologist. There you go. Yes, I think there's something called speculum or something. Because there's a Dutch cookie called speculas. So sometimes I mix them up. Not so good to mix cookies. But anyway, so he likes to put that in his mouth. So you get this amazing transparent view, fake teeth, and he's snot. He loves snot. He's a snort and fart kind of man. Because as he says, you can fart in any culture and they will always laugh. So fart is a universal language. So when I was trying to explain that with him. So all of you could be clowns. It's very easy. There's different kind of clowns, okay? Like I say, when I went there, I was scared. I wasn't sure, you know, how I would be doing, what I would be doing. So all of you could actually go. It's something so wonderful to your heart. So the way it works, Patch has this organization called Gesundheit in the States, in Virginia. And he organizes trips in different places in the world, Guatemala. And then there's organization, local organization. I'm not sure, I'm sure there's something in Panama, I just don't know their names. But I know clowns who live here that I'm going to join with me in Peru tomorrow. We're taking the plane together. And so this is Fábrica de Sonrisas. They are 6,000 members in Guatemala. 6,000 members. So, and in Peru there's Bola Joya, which I still don't know how to pronounce. But red nose or red ball. And so all the ones who are the white jackets, they're from Guatemala. And all the ones with costumes are from different countries. So from the States, from Italy, Norway, okay. And we go and we join it. So it's like an organized, let's say an organized trip, but they take care of you, okay? You pay them, everything's organized, so the hotel, the traveling, and the food, everything is paid. And, you know, they take care of you. So, when you clown, like here, it's everywhere. So we travel by bus, and then, you know, this is people in wheelchairs in the street and street vendors, and it's not so much, you're not making a show. It's all improvisation, okay? So, one of the first places we went in Guatemala, this was an orphanage for kids who are malnutrition, who have problem with development, because when they were young, they had, you know, not enough food for the family situation there. I don't play the accordion, but like I say, being a clown is wonderful because you can fail at everything and it's perfect. It's true. Okay, next one. This one was for adults, old folks, with physical, who cannot move very much. Okay, so orthopedic. Since I'm not a clown, I don't know how to juggle. Thank you. Yes. I don't know to do. I don't have a skill. I don't juggle. I don't. So I started to do push-ups. Yeah, I just started to do push-ups, and you know. So here I am after like 100 push-ups. I'm kind of lying on the floor. You know, it doesn't matter what you do. You know, the idea is that you give yourself to the person who's there. Okay. For people with Down syndrome, psychiatric ward, you know, sometimes they're not even aware that you're there, but you do make a difference. So it's not, you don't go there for I good, you know, you have to feel good for yourself. You go there for that. Okay. This was in a center for kids with AIDS. And kids with AIDS, they have to be protected. They have to be taken away from the city. So it's a kind of small, not so much village, but a small house very far away for their own protection. And then we just go. So it's like for everyone, for everybody. Gigantic orphanage, Valley de Los Angeles, about 200 kids there. And this little girl changed my life, you know. When you do something like that, I remember the day when I became a humanitarian clown, when my life changed. We were spending the day with these kids, and somehow, for some reason, she, as soon as I came in, she just kind of adopted me. So we kind of played together. She was always sticking around me, whatever I was doing, and she was always willing to help me. It was wonderful. And then came lunchtime. And at lunchtime, we had to part, but she didn't want to go. So she was in my arms, and, you know, kind of, well, you have to go, I'll be back after lunch, and stuff like that. So, you know, after a while, we were able to kind of let go of each other so she could go eat and stuff. And then something really came over me at that point. Because I felt, okay, now she's just going away. We'll see later. But at the end of the day, I can go home. I can go to some place that's called home. Maybe have a family and friends. At the end of the day, that's all she knows. That's all she is there. That's her home. That's her life. So with that feeling, then I ask myself, you know, what can I do? And I say, well, at least when I'm here, I can give her all of my stuff. I can give everything, all my attention to her. And this is very important life lesson, because then you learn to be vulnerable. You learn that it's okay to feel, to be powerless. Not to judge yourself of being powerless. So you're powerless, but still You give of yourself. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So don't try to be perfect, but just give of yourself. This was a center for kids who they do kind of have parents, but their parents are either in jail or in court order for their protection. So the kids are there for like 1 or 2 years, while their parents, like they have no one to take care of them. Okay. And this is a good example of what clowning can be. I have 2 different experiences. So this is for a hospital for cardiac operations. And this girl had her operation a week before. And she was there with her mom. And I came into the room and we just improvised. We just have fun. Clowning is just having fun, something like that. So I spent at least like half an hour, maybe an hour with her. And then I moved to the other room. And then I came to the waiting area. And there was this little girl on the floor alone. So I went and I kind of wanted to bring her the same energy, the same love, the same joy. But it just, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. So I stopped and I just held her. For 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, gave her a balloon. And that's all we did. We just kind of, okay. And then later, I got to know the story that she was in the waiting room because she just got the news that she's going to have an operation next week for her heart. So what she was feeling was totally different. She had survived. She had just finished her operation. And this one was just like totally facing the unknown now. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to the family, to my life? So what she needed was that. And this is what humanitarian clowning is. We don't do shows. We don't do a stage, and we don't do a rehearsed play. You just come, and whatever the person needs is what you give. You give for them. Okay. Coming back from that trip, I joined something called the Association for Applied Therapeutic Humor. So in the States, I talk about laughter yoga. They're working that laughter becomes a accepted program. Like for people who are depressed, who are post-traumatic stress disorder, for Army people, people, they do have yoga lessons or music therapy, but laughter therapy is not recognized yet. But the research is out there that laughter therapy does have a lot of long-term changing effects and stuff like that. So these guys, they meet once a year, and the idea is to, make it official that laughter is good. So coming fresh from Guatemala, I went clown crazy, and I just clowned everyone, like my friend here and you very well. So and then I went to India with the other organization. Okay, let's see. Leprosy.